The Muslim and Christian lobbies around the world actively work to raise a voice against anything that hurts their interests. But when Hindus and Hindu temples are attacked in Pakistan or elsewhere, how does the world react? Why do we not see the same global outrage?
According to the Pakistani newspaper Dawn, a gang of dacoits attacked a Hindu place of worship in Pakistan using rocket launchers. Yes, you heard that right, using rocket launchers. As reported here, armed men had stormed into the landlord's house because he had not paid protection money to them for the last 6 months. The Human Rights Commission of Pakistan tweeted that it was alarmed by reports of deteriorating law and order as some 30 members of the Hindu community, including women and children, have allegedly been held hostage by organized criminal gangs. In yet another incident in Pakistan, as reported by GOTV, local media claimed that a Hindu temple over 150 years old was demolished in Karachi's Soldier Bazaar area. However, the port city's mayor, Murtaza Wahab, denied the reports. He tweeted, "No such demolition of the mandir has taken place and mandir is still intact." The attack, reportedly by rocket launchers on a Hindu place of worship in Pakistan, has not gone completely unnoticed in the USA. Derek Grossman is a senior defense analyst at the Rand Corporation. Just a couple of days ago, he had explained how India is becoming a power in Southeast Asia. Reacting to this attack in Pakistan on Hindus, Derek Grossman tweeted, "I have been hopeful that India-Pakistan ties were quietly on the mend. Today, I'm far less hopeful." But it must be pointed out that what we know as Pakistan today has a long and established pattern of violence against minorities, specifically Hindus. Back in 2021, the Turkish media outlet TRT World published a video that showed how a Hindu temple was destroyed by a mob led by local Muslim clerics and supporters of a religious party. I mean, just take a look at these scenes. The Guardian published an article explaining that a violent religious mob set fire to a Hindu temple in Pakistan's Khyber Pakhtunkhwa region and attempted to tear it to the ground. The article also shared this tweet. I mean, listen to how Pakistanis are chanting slogans and cheering the destruction of the Hindu temple. Quite shockingly, it has been said that many Pakistanis who are behind such attacks are only performing their Islamic duty. According to this article in New York Times, when attempts were being made to construct Islamabad's first Hindu temple, a group of men destroyed the partially constructed wall around the temple's land, claiming it was their Islamic duty to do so. Back in July 2020, as explained here, although Hindus are between 2 and 4% of Pakistan's population, Islamabad does not have a temple for them to worship in. If their relatives die, they must travel long distances with the body to Hindu-run cremation facilities to perform traditional burial rites. Maria Abi Habib of New York Times also mentions the wave of Islamic radicalization within the powerful armed forces in Pakistan. And as reported here, Muslims attacked more than 30 Hindu temples across Pakistan. Marchers shouted, "Death to Hinduism! Crush India!" But this is not the story of the last 20, 30 or even the last 100 years or so. This onslaught against Hindus has been going on for centuries. But here, one must also understand the bigger picture, or rather the so-called bigger mission. And that is the mission of Islamization and Christianization of the Indian subcontinent. The radical mission of expansionism-seeking religions replacing the native cultures with theirs has caused irreversible damage to the Hindu civilizational heritage. For example, read this. The Pakistani newspaper Dawn covered the story of Lucky in Pakistan that was described as a place of pilgrimage for Hindus. Once populated with temples, only traces of Hinduism remain in Lucky. As described here, Lucky used to be of special significance for worshippers of Shiva and acted as a stopover for pilgrims going on the journey to Hinglaj Mata temple to celebrate Yatra in Balochistan. And as explained here, scholar and traveler Hyen Sang visited Sindh in the 7th century and described that there were 273 Hindu temples here. But today, there are only a handful of shivalas or temples in Lucky. Once majestic, they now wear a deserted look. And as mentioned here, the joint Kashmir and Hindu Shahi forces protecting their homeland were defeated by the invading Mahmud's forces, which brought the end of the Hindu Shahi dynasty. And all that is left behind this dynasty is a legacy of crumbling temples. So here comes the question, how do the people of Pakistan think of their Hindu roots? And another one, how do they perceive the ongoing Islamization of the Indian subcontinent? According to this article on Dawn, today locals only refer to this ancient Hindu worship site as a place of the Kafirs. Yes, as mentioned in this article by a leading Pakistani newspaper, Hindu worship site as place of the kafirs. Whether it is India's Kashmir, Pakistan or even Bangladesh, the ongoing Islamization of the Indian subcontinent is expected to create more difficult situations for people in this part of the world. And the latest attacks on Hindus or Hindu worship places in Pakistan seem to be just another chapter in the so-called idea of conquest. Some call their victims kafirs, others refer to them as devil worshippers or heathens, but the mission appears to be the same. See you again.